Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about Lonely Boy. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, before we get started, I just wanted to give you some information about myself. I am extremely antisocial in real life. I am asexual, and I fear rejection and conflict due to past experiences. I play a female character in Final Fantasy XIV, but I am a guy, and I started playing about 5 or so years ago. I have fallen in love with the game, from the characters to the story, all of it. It was my first actual MMO, unless you count Warframe. So you might say I did not know what to expect from an MMO community. I have never been good with relationships. Every time I have asked someone out, I have gotten rejected. I was carrying around all these feelings of loneliness, and I felt like as I moved through my life, I just lost friends along the way. All that was left now were my online friends who I considered really important to me. And so then I started to be interested in making some sort of romantic connection in the game. One day I received an FC invite. At the time, I was already in an FC with one of my friends, and I didn't even think about leaving. But near the end of Heavensward, this friend and I took a break. Actually, they took a break and I couldn't stop playing. And I was lonely, and I wanted someone to talk to because I had found myself alone. So I decided to start talking to members of this FC that I had gotten the invite from. They were all very nice. I still don't have any bad blood with them. There were a few women playing that seemed friendly, so whenever there was some group content to do, I would see if any of them were joining the party. Man, you can already see like this guy, his goals are like, are there women there? If there are, I'm joining. There was the FC leader, Trixie, an FC admin I will call Kira, and some members of my same rank in the FC who I will call Charlotte and Ruby. So already a lot of girls being introduced in the story. Trixie and Kira were actually a couple, and Ruby was into open relationships, which she had in real life and also in game. So I did not bother to look in their direction for anything more than friendship. I did admire how they kept the FC active. Consequently, I ended up trying ERP with someone outside of the FC. Her name was Rivian. Regarding ERP, I was really more interested in the writing aspect of it than the sexual aspect. I do believe a good story can be told this way. It still feels weird though, because it is hard to gauge how the person on the other end is receiving what you are typing. So then, after that, I would occasionally go around Balmung and talk to people, have a session of ERP, and then go back to whatever I was doing. I was out of work and did this to fill the time. This went on for a couple of years till the end of 2022. Damn, he was busy ERPing in Balmung for about 2 years. I really thought that now I wanted to look for someone special and more serious. So I joined the Lovebringers Discord around October. Right, so if you guys don't know what this is, Lovebringers is an actual Discord out there that is for Final Fantasy XIV players to find love or friendship with other Final Fantasy XIV players. Read a couple of stories with this already. There were a few people that I spoke to, but nothing ever worked out with them. I kept looking. I spoke to this one person I will call Jillian. She seemed nice and we hung out for a couple of days, but then she broke it to me that she had some really toxic friends and also she had financial issues. She wanted to server transfer to me, but couldn't afford to pay for it. I thought we should just not go forward with it because I didn't want any drama from her toxic friends. And I didn't have any money to help her with a server transfer. I felt bad because she seemed really hurt. To be honest, that's kind of fair. Like if you just met someone and they're like, hey, like, I kind of want to transfer to you, but like, they're like hinting for you to pay it. Like, why can't people just pay for their own transfers? You can't rely on someone to pay for your transfer if you just met the person. You have to know them for a while for them to like want to pay for your transfer. I felt like I did the right thing though. I didn't think they were in a great position to focus on the game in the first place. So then in November, I noticed someone letting people visit them at their house. So I decided to go over and see what it was all about. There were a few people there along with the person whose house it was, and they all seemed cool. There was a girl there named Callie, and they said that they would be going off to sleep now, and they wanted to talk to someone on Discord. So I obliged, and I found out they were a woman IRL. We've gone through so many women already in the story, and the moment like OP finds out they're a woman IRL, they're like, yes, nailed it. After chatting about some random things, their messages turned sexual, and I thought that meant that they were starting to like me. So I was trying to match their energy while also trying to still talk about games. After some on and off messages, eventually they went silent. So I assumed they just got busy doing something else, or maybe they no longer wanted anything to do with me. I didn't hear from them all the month of November, so I took that as them moving on, and I moved on too. I was still carrying on in my attempts to make a connection with someone. I ended up posting on an Eternal Bond page on the Final Fantasy XIV forum to try and find someone. That's a thing? I was still talking to Charlotte from the FC, and around the end of the year, we took some Christmas G poses together. They were tasteful, not safe for work shots, and Charlotte seemed happy to pose with my character. I mentioned to Charlotte that I was looking to do the Eternal Bond with someone who I could keep playing with. Charlotte said they had fun playing with me. I was happy to hear that, but then simultaneously I got a message from someone from the FF14 forum who was specifically interested in my search for an Eternal Bond partner. So then, all of a sudden, I couldn't decide who to choose. Charlotte seemed interested, and this new person from the forum, Allura, was looking to do it too. So then I thought, there's only one thing that would really keep me from getting bonded, and that is if they were a man in real life. So before I came to a decision, I told them both what was happening out of respect to both of them. I didn't want to lie or string anyone along. I asked them about their genders. Charlotte told me they were a guy. I guess I wasn't shocked because I was aware that guys play girl characters. I mean, that's what I'm doing too. But I know that I had told them that I was a guy before when we were talking and such. So they must have been okay with it. But I was not okay with it, not in the terms of a romantic relationship. Okay, so he's basically saying if he's gonna go the extra step further for a romantic relationship, they absolutely have to be a girl IRL. After hearing from both sides, I decided that Allura and I would go forward with the Eternal Bond because they did tell me they were a woman in real life. Was it that easy? All they had to do was be like, OP, I'm a girl IRL. And OP was like, okay, let's get married in the game. I believe you. Like, they could be lying. How are you so sure? I was so happy to finally have something with someone that could mean something special. My post on the forum stated that I was looking for a person that I could play games with and just talk to when we had time and stuff. Allura's post had similar wording and did not seem odd at all, so I felt comfortable with them. So we decided to purchase the Promises of Platinum. Oh, that's what it's called. I was gonna say FaceTime. Exactly. That's a good way. Like, I gotta see if you're a girl. FaceTime me. After we organized and scheduled the bond and got all that sorted out, we sent out invitations. People from my FC attended as well as a few friends from Allura's side. It was very nice and I personally thought their character was very pretty. But after a few days, Allura started to act distracted. I had helped them with jumping puzzles around the game for the lookout points and shared some maps with them, but then they just sort of stopped talking. They said they were distracted by Ultimate Raid prepping, and I was supportive of that. After a while, though, it felt like I reached out to them as they were just running past, world to world, and then logging off. I don't really feel too comfortable with ultimate rating. When I asked Allura to help me with some basic content, they told me, only if you can get more people for it. That kind of hurt me a bit, because even if we were not like together, because they saw our relationship more as a friendship, they could at least have acted like a friend and been more reasonable. So I guess what Opie is like, why couldn't they look for people together for the static rather than her just be like, you get the people then? And Opie clearly wants to do content with Allura, but it seems like Allura is just like finding like a way, like, yeah, maybe if Opie does it, like it'll never really happen. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that. After some consideration, I reminded Allura that I had described beforehand what I wanted from this arrangement, and what was happening was not what I wanted nor expected out of the eternal bond. I said I would keep the ring though, so if they added any more parkour into the game, I could at least help them with that, at least until I find someone else. And they said, sure. So I moved on again. Damn! This is like reminding me of the stories I get when like a guy just gives me the list of women that they've had encounters with in the game. So it's like another one of those. And I played the game for a while and tried to forget about Allura. Then I saw that Callie had their home open again. I had been talking to Callie in Discord on and off for a while, mostly casual conversations, but sometimes a bit more exciting than that, where I would try give them what they wanted. I really thought that Callie was a person that I could really like, since we had so much in common and I really enjoyed talking to them. But every now and then, for personal reasons, Callie would disappear for around a month at a time. This started happening a lot, to the point where I would keep asking why and getting upset with them for no reason, other than that I missed talking to them. We had done Baja and Hades Mount farming together, but there was one thing that confused me a lot. They still played a lot with their ex. It didn't really bother me that Callie talked to her ex, but Callie seemed to be under a lot of pressure when I would ask to hang out. So eventually, I started looking for someone else. That's when I realized there was someone who had been there almost the whole time. My FC leader, Trixie. Oh my god! This is woman roulette, man! Woman roulette in Final Fantasy XIV. She had been in and out of some bad relationships, so I said to her, since she already knew she could rely on me, I am here to support you. I knew how much she cared about the FC. She said, sure, and it made me very happy. But just like every relationship I have had so far, it would not last very long. At the end of the year, I started my own FC because I always had wanted to build one up from scratch, but I still offered to help Trixie with hers when she needed. But during that time, she found someone else. And while I was happy for her, I couldn't help but feeling a little sad again. That even though I got that sure from her, in reality, words don't really mean much. Wait, sure doesn't mean anything. Like, it sounded like you just wanted to help her FC and she was just like, sure. That's just what it meant. That's it. And after this, I finally started thinking maybe I am the problem, or that love is not something that is meant for me. I know it's not a dating game, but it sucks the amount of times I have felt like this. But then I ended up talking to someone else from the FC, Ruby, because she was going through some stuff in game with their past partner. I was not super enthusiastic about the idea of an open relationship, so I turned her down. Ruby did seem really nice though, so the next day I turned around and went back and said I had changed my mind and that I would be okay with trying it. I knew they would still be busy with their IRL partner and child. Yeah, like that doesn't sound like what OP wants at all. After a while, I noticed that Ruby had started talking to someone else, and even though I knew they were open, it hurt my feelings. In that same week, they had just found another person. So then I came out and said I didn't think it would work for me personally. I decided to move on again, and for some reason, I decided to go back to Lovebringers. And this time, it would be for the worst, and likely the final time. After I went back to Lovebringers, I was messaged by someone that was very interested in talking to me. We kept talking for a while, and for some reason, I don't know if it's just a woman thing, they started getting sexual in the DMs again. This didn't shock me, and I wasn't really interested. I have never asked these people to get sexual with me or for anything in return. I have just gone along with it for their sake. And here I did this again, but this time there was something off about it. One day she asked if she could see a picture of me, and naively I agreed to send them. I did not think or care too much about it, even though it is a quite dangerous thing to do, of course. I just thought if I keep going along, maybe it would lead to something. So one of the days after this, I asked, "So, are we a thing now or what?" And her reply was, "Sorry, I don't do long distance." Oh, she did not like what she saw in the picture, maybe. That's just, me being blunt. And again, that feeling came back even stronger this time, like my stomach was being pulled in. I had yet again been unwittingly used for their sexual gratification. I should have just put the pieces together, since she had a server where she would invite a bunch of men from the Lovebringers Discord to have them engage in her sexual whims while also playing the game. After a while, I deleted all my pictures from my end and told her that I would be leaving the server and went on my way. And so after that happened, I really truly thought that it was not my destiny to find someone I can talk to and play games with. I always ended up being hurt over trying to attain something so simple. In the back of my head, I was thinking that people would say, "You are a man, just live with it." And this would be the first time I ended up crying over my own thoughts. Why do I deserve this? Now we come to the present day, and I saw that Callie was back and had opened her home again. Callie has opened her home 3 times in this story. Like, what is that? Like, to me, I'm like wondering, like, does she like close her doors and make it private, and then like random times of the year she just opens it, like open season? What's going on with Callie's house in the game? For some reason, I was happy to see that she was back. I went over to say hi. I was happy to see them again. They were the person I felt I had the biggest connection through all of this. And for a time, it was going well. We were conversing more and more until just recently. This should be obvious. They found someone else. I assumed they were talking to them during their time off from the game. And this is now where I am at. All roads lead to nothing for me. I don't know if I have the will to try again. During some of this time, I tried things like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, but none of them worked either. So I am at an impasse. Now I think maybe love is just not meant for me, or maybe I am the problem. Either way, I just have to suck it up and be a man at the end of the day and carry on just playing the game. I don't want to feel sorry for myself, and of course, I want all these people to be happy with whoever they end up with. If anyone out there has any thoughts to share on this, feel free. I am all ears. Except you don't need to tell me how naive I am. I am well aware of this. I just want to believe that good can come from reaching out, even though I ended up getting hurt from it. The end. All right, chat, what do you think? What do you think? I get a few stories like this, okay? It's a hard one to tackle because this person sounds so defeated already. Yeah, like they know the game is not a dating game, but they're literally using it as a dating app. My advice is going to sound really general because I have said this in the past to like other stories when I encounter certain guys with similar like traits like this. I say don't look for it. Don't look for it. Just like play the game, be friends with people, and if you notice you're starting to have a better bond with someone over the friendship, then maybe you can think about moving on to the next step and seeing how they feel. Because going directly into like just looking for love, you're going to get disappointed a lot of times, because there's a lot of people who play Final Fantasy 14 who aren't looking for love. They just want to play the game, you know? So like, that's not a good goal to have in the game, to find someone for love in Final Fantasy 14. Just stick to friendship first, like step by step. So that's my advice. I'm joining Lovebringers right now, ready to get my heart broken. Okay, that's not the case. That's not the case for everyone. I think some people do find love in there, but like, I feel bad that I'm probably advertising their Discord in a bad light, because we're only going to hear the bad stories. Wait, this game isn't a dating app? XFing. Tell him to start playing Valorant. That's basically an e-dating hub now. Oh. First, you need to be comfortable alone. True, Selena, and in your own skin before you go looking for a partner. A partner isn't supposed to fill a hole, but to be a whole other person. Agree. Fully agree with that. Gotta be happy with yourself first. Everything else is a bonus. Honestly, OP seems too obsessed with every potential friendship looking like a potential relationship instead. Right. It's really off-putting to people. Yep. Like, people want to feel special. They don't want to know like you're just the next person down the road that they're going to try it with just because you're a girl. Like, this guy's category is just be a woman. That's it. Like, that's his category. Like, there's nothing special about that, you know? Like, no girl would want to just date you because they're a woman and they fill that quota for you. Why would you want a Final Fantasy 14 partner? You'd be just surprised. There are a lot of people who love this game so much, and they just want to find someone else who also enjoys the game just as much as them, so they can bond over how much they love the game together. So yeah, that's why a lot of people try to find someone who's like also playing the game. I want my partner to fill my hole. Thanks. Oh my god, I can't believe I read that. Just don't be desperate. It'll come when you're not looking for it, usually. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy 14 drama story. Remember, these are real people behind the stories, and they're human and can make mistakes. They'll also be reading the comment section, so please try to have constructive criticism. There are always nicer ways to say something versus saying it meanly to help someone learn and grow. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.